Hey, it's Lee here at Simplify Adulting, where we help people in their 20s navigate the complexities of their career, their money, and those daily adulting responsibilities. And with that, we're going to jump right into it and we're going to take on a topic of interviewing, and we're going to address that specific question that will pretty much definitely get asked of you. And it is the what questions do you have for me? And I will tell you that I can say with almost certainty you will get asked this question a lot when you interview, because as a hiring manager, hiring or interviewing thousands of people, I think I probably ask that question 99.9% of the time. So um, I want to break down, first of all, why that question gets asked from the perspective of the hiring manager, and then how you can take advantage of the fact that you now know it's going to get asked and prepare for it. So, first, there are really two reasons why, as a hiring manager, I ask that question. First, I truly want to give you the opportunity to get the information you need that you don't feel like you've gotten from the interview process, because that's important, because I understand that this is a two-way street, that you need information to make a decision just like we need information to make a decision, and I want to reciprocate. So think of it as good etiquette, right? The second prong to why I asked that question um, is that I believe that something as important as a job, there's just no way an interview will answer all the questions. And this is a way for me to see how engaged somebody is, how interested they are, how thoughtful they are in terms of the questions they ask, and the quality of the questions they ask. So for me as a hiring manager, I'm constantly looking for ways to differentiate between my slate of candidates. That's just reality. And the quality of questions that someone asks me at the end of an interview is just one of those things that I'll look to. And so now here's the great thing about that, though. Now you know that 99.9% of the time, or 100% of the time, you're going to be asked that question. You can actually prepare for it. And here's why it's important to prepare. Because when something stresses us out, sticking our head in the sand does not reduce the stress, it increases it. And I believe by preparing and practicing, it just takes our stress and takes it right down. And this is not an unanswerable question. You're not being asked to, figure out calculus on the spot. That would be a true nightmare for me. So this is just an opportunity, though, for you to be curious ahead of the interview and think about what is the type of information that you're going to want. What are you going to want to know? And by being curious, there's ways that you can look at information and just kind of say, okay, not like, is this the right question or wrong question? It's not that. Start with just saying, hey, I'm going to look at the job description and what information's not in there that I think would be helpful. How big is the team? Is it a cross-functional team, right? There's all types of things that you look at that job description, and it gives you tons of great information, but I guarantee you there are gaps in that information based on you looking at it and saying, I want to know about the day in the life of this job. What else could I ask that would help me understand that? If I'm going to go and take this job and do it, how many days a week, how many hours a day, what do I want to know? And just allow yourself to be curious about it. And you'll start to pick out very thoughtful and really appropriate questions. Now, on the flip side of that, you can kind of flip over to the company side, because there's a whole bunch of questions you can have that are related to the broader company. So you could go to their website, their social media, outlets, whatever it is, and you can do some research. And because also probably one of the questions you're going to get asked is, why this job? Why this company? And this will also help you prepare for that question as well. But what you can do is you can go out and see, like, has there been a major product release? Has there been, a major expansion? Did they just open a new office? Is there a new leadership team? Who knows what you'll find when you go out there? But when you're just, I'm just curious, I wonder what it would be like to work for this company. Well, go out and look around and say, it's interesting. I can I didn't see anything about this, or I saw this, that this great product thing happened, but it doesn't say how it's going, right? So that's a great way to start to kind of prime your brain to come up with some great questions. And then after I do that research, I kind of think about the questions in some key buckets. So first of all, just jot down 1 to 2 questions in each of these buckets. And in the first bucket is that job specific, kind of role specific questions. So those little things that you came up with out of curiosity, is this a does this position work with cross functional teams? What does the team look like that I work on? What are the goals and performance metrics for this position? Right? Those are the very job specific things that you could ask. So jot down 2 of those. The next thing you can ask is, and I think this is super important, so I think you should want to know this, you should have somebody talk to you about the culture. And what is that culture? How would they describe it? And then you can also ask about, hey, how does our team work? Well, what is the teamwork like here? And that's really important to know, because you'll want to know if that's going to be a good fit for you. And as a hiring manager, I'm thinking, yeah, that's a good question, because this is really important stuff. Just because I didn't, put it out there myself doesn't mean it's not important. It just means I was too busy asking you questions to tell you stuff that maybe you want to know. And the other thing that's really great to ask about is career development opportunities. So you could ask about, do they have a specific process for career development? How do they manage that within the company? Do they have a lot of success moving people, cross functionally? What does that look like? And that lets them know that you're not just thinking about this job, but you're thinking about the future jobs and future opportunities. And what it says to me is that, wow, this person's pretty engaged. Like, they want to know what else, is available to them. And was always a good sign to me as a hiring manager. And I think the most important thing is that if you're really interested in the job, show it. Be genuine, and don't fake it. But if you're genuinely interested in the job, you can really show that. And by asking the right questions and asking about what you're truly curious about, I think is the best way to do that. Because at the end of the day, they want to hire you, and they want to see the real you, and they kind of want to know what you're thinking about. So be curious when putting those questions together instead of thinking right or wrong. The only thing I would advise against is asking super specific questions that are about, like, okay, what's the salary for this job? What's the time off policy? What's the medical plan for this? Only because when I ask that question as a hiring manager, I want you to get that information, but that's not the best use of my time, right? If you're sitting with the HR rep and they said, hey, here's the person that's going to explain our benefits package to you, fire away, right? But as a hiring manager, I want to know that you're going to make good use of my time. So ask me questions that I can give you the best answer to, and probably highlighting, the medical plan is not it. And also, you got to think through, am I asking a question that's readily available on their company site? If so, again, as a hiring manager, I'm going to be like, what a wasted opportunity. Honestly, that's how I would think about, like, what a wasted opportunity. So ask legit, real questions that either came up from your previous, preparation, or that came up during the interview process. And that's going to show the most, I would call, genuine interest to the hiring manager. So there you go. Do not dread the do you have any questions for me questions. Simply know it's going to happen. Do some prep work, be curious, and be genuine in the questions that you ask. There you go. Until next time, stay happy and healthy. And if you liked this, please subscribe to get our future great content.